Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this session. IWOP, UWOP, we all WOP. My name is Julie Perkins, and I'm the officer in charge of the Global WOPs Alliance here at UN-Habitat, and welcome very much to this final session of 2 weeks of Global WOPs Congress. We're very excited today about, first of all, the end of this Congress, which has been really very interesting and rich, but equally happy to be celebrating it with the opening of these 22 WOP projects under the EU-WOP program. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping tips that are relevant for those of you watching. Please know, first of all, that interpretation is available in English, French, and Spanish. So if you would like to use, if you don't speak all of those languages, because they will all be spoken, please select the button on the outside right of your screen and turn down the main volume so that you don't hear both languages spoken at once. Please also make use of the chat that we have at the bottom to make comments, introduce yourself. And if you are doing this for the first time, you will need to sign in using your email or social media account, and then it's quite quick. Finally, we have a survey at the bottom of the session page, and we request you to make use of it at the end of the session to give us feedback for the next Congress. So this is a very short and I hope very sweet session today to sort of cap off our Congress. And it will hold some exciting moments. First, we will hear from our colleagues at UN-Habitat and the European Union to speak about the program from the perspective of the two lead partner institutions. And then I will give a brief overview of the EWOP program, after which we'll have 3 projects briefly showcased by top-level representatives of the utilities that are involved. At the end of this session, we have a video to show you the various sort of an overview of the different projects that are being launched. And then we're doing something that we've never done before that risks being a little bit unwieldy, but we hope it will be fun, is that we invite all of you out there who are involved in the projects to join us on stage by clicking on the request to join or request to speak button on the bottom of your screen. At the end of the session, I will let you know when, just near the end, and then we'll invite you on the screen and have a group photograph for those of you who are able to do so. So please, please stick with us, and we hope we're in for an exciting short program. Now, it's an honor to introduce the first speaker, the Director of the Global Solutions Division and my organization, UN-Habitat, Raf Toots. Raf, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Julie, for this kind introduction. Dear Ms. Marenissen, representative of the European Commission, dear utility managers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to join you today in this culminating session of the Global Water Operators Partnership Congress, which has been taking place indeed online over the past 2 weeks. The goal of this Congress has been to stimulate further action for water and sanitation, so it's apt that the discussions are closing with an opening towards exciting new work. In this session, we are celebrating the symbolic launch of the 22 partnerships under this important EU-WOP program that UN-Habitat is undertaking with the European Union. The sustainability challenges facing the planet are increasingly evident. As sweeping and global as these challenges may be, the local level is where most of them need to be addressed. City and subnational institutions, water and sanitation utilities being chief among them, are key to solving some of our biggest problems. With the COP26 approaching in Glasgow and countries grappling with strategies to dramatically reduce their emissions, it is important to put a spotlight on the carbon contribution of water and sanitation services. The transport and treatment of water has a huge energy cost, which can and must be curbed with operational efficiencies and by progressively adopting natural infrastructure and circular systems. But above all, utilities are on the receiving end of climate change, with temperatures and hydrological disruptions compromising source water availability, treatment, and distribution. Operators need to adapt their operations and build in resilience. However, even without climate change, many operators are struggling to serve their populations already with reliable, safe, affordable, and accessible water and sanitation services. And it's systematically the vulnerable communities that bear the greatest brunt of these shortcomings. Within cities and communities, the importance of safe and accessible water and sanitation services can hardly be understated. These basic services are essential to life, health, and well being. The capacity of local workers and professionals is the fundamental building block in strong utilities. Capacity is critical for improving performance, accessing finance to improve public water and sanitation systems, and extending services where they are most needed. UN Habitat is proud to lead the Global WOPS Alliance which works to strengthen and scale up solidarity based on decentralized cooperation between water and sanitation service providers. Water operators partnerships work, they are cost effective and they are growing. By making use of the power of peer support between operators, this new EU WOP program will help make measurable and sustainable improvements in over 30 utilities in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. And the 22 WOPs will address diverse utility themes from workers' well-being to wastewater treatment, from energy efficiency to smarter and more equitable tariffication, from water quality to better services in formal settlements. These WOPs aim to translate into benefits felt by the millions of people in the communities they serve. These EU WOP projects are leveraging, on average, 75% of the value of grants provided by the EU. This is an additional mobilization of nearly 6 million US dollars that is coming from you, the partners in the WOPs, in the form of staff time and other contributions. In addition, many of these partnerships are providing the capacity to back much larger investments, helping ensure their longevity, effectiveness, and social and environmental performance. Three-quarters of the projects have an objective to link the capacity and performance improvements of the WOP to such an infrastructure investment. We are very grateful to the European Union for their engagement in this very promising initiative, which we'll hope is the beginning of a longer-term collaboration to mobilize utilities' professional support to make meaningful improvements in water and sanitation services around the world towards the achievement of the SDGs. But today, congratulations goes first and foremost to the over 50 organizations who are involved in the partnerships being launched. I do understand that this is a symbolic launch as all 22 lead organizations are in the process of finalizing their agreements of cooperation with UN Habitat to formally initiate these projects. However, we know that for all of them, the collaboration is beginning and we consider these very high quality projects and we look forward to seeing them take off soon. We wish you good luck in your partnerships and we assure you that we are here to support you in your efforts. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Raf. Very appreciated. I would now like to introduce Chantal Mariensen, Head of Unit for Environment, Sustainable Natural Resources in DG INTPA, the European Commission. Over to you, Chantal.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Raf, for introducing this session. I have to say I'm delighted to be with all of you today to participate in the launch of the 22 water operator partnerships under the EU WOP programme. You may know that in June 2021, the European Parliament has adopted the financial regulation that establishes what we now call the Global Europe Instrument, which will basically allow us to finance cooperation in the next 7 years. It recalled that the principal objective of this instrument is reduction and ultimately the eradication of poverty. And I think we all know here around this sort of virtual table that without water there is no life, and hence there will be no development and certainly no eradication of poverty. Also, I think what's very important is that our commissioner puts reduction of inequalities and human development at the center of her priorities. SDG 6 is one of the most critical for human life, health, and development, and water access and sanitation will be a cornerstone to achieving this ambition. The water operators are the ones who deliver the water and sanitation agenda throughout the world. They are the local stakeholders who have the know-how and the ones who are delivering the services. So the water operator partnership is going to be key to help them improve their know-how, their performance, and their capacity in a sustained exchange of knowledge. But we believe that they can also be catalytic effects in building the much needed continuum between governance, skills, financing, in contributing to mobilizing financing and to improve governance by a spillover effect. And also because putting people at the center of the approach enables the right people with the right skills to achieve the right changes. We at the EU are really proud to be supporting the EU-WOP programme. We're very happy to see the initial application of 142 WOPs, which highlights the really high interest that there was in this process throughout the world. And we're happy to see that there's a high rate of eligibility, and there were some really worthy and strong proposals that were put forward. The final 22 WOPs that have been selected are 15 of them are taking places in least developed countries. And what we're also really happy to see is that we're not only do we have North-South partnerships, but we also have South-South, and we have triangular partnerships, which we find to be really interesting and worthy. We're happy to support them, and we're really interested to see how they help strengthen the operational, financial, but also the social, human, and environmental performances of the water operators. And we really hope to see that there will be better services for many more people around the world thanks to this program. As you probably know, we're currently finalizing our programming for the next 7 years, and the Green Deal will be at the heart of it. 30% of our spending is going to be dedicated to climate change. Raf mentioned that COP26 is taking place next week, and it's extremely important to us all. But we're also going to be doubling our spending on biodiversity. There was the first launch of the convention on biodiversity, the conference, on biodiversity last week, and it will, negotiations are taking place with an aim to achieving a strategic framework in spring next year. Water has been given a great prominence in the green pillar of our programming, and we're seeing 57 countries that have planned to significant activities on water in their programming this time round. The sustainable use of water resources, the treatment, reuse, valorization of effluents, and the use of natural-based systems to provide long-term solutions will be given more attention. And this will be especially important, as I mentioned, in the context of the climate and the biodiversity crisis. But closing the gap on water financing will also be an issue. And finding new and sustainable finance paths will be very important. Many of our interventions may take place within secondary cities, where the provision of basic services, and in particular water, remain a major challenge. In this context, it will be important to strengthen the capacity of local water operators, and in particular along 3 lines. Capacity to mobilize financing by connecting local, regional, and international financial institutions and investors. Capacity to connect with the civil society in order to ensure that the principles of human rights to water and sanitation are abided with. And finally, capacity to innovate towards a greener and more circular managed resources. We believe that the EU's support through the EU-WOPs programme and the programmes that EU member states are bringing forward are really comprehensive packages to transform and improve the work around on the ground and to have a lasting and sustainable impact. An impact that can be definitely change the water landscape. It will be a positive both for northern and southern water operators and a great contribution towards the achievement of SDG 6 target, which currently, let's not forget, is off track. So we'd like to take this opportunity to thank the UN Secretariat and UN-Habitat for all the great work that's been done, not only organising this event, but also the call and the programme. And with this, I'd like to wish everybody a very happy WOPs and really happy to see all of the WOPs that have been selected. Thank you very much. Julie, back to you.
Chantal, thank you so very much for those most supportive and encouraging words. We really appreciated you being here with us today and for doing anything to enable this program to happen, which we really think will bring some wonderful results in the future and lead to quite some support for these important objectives that we're all pursuing together. Thank you for being here. I understand you may need to leave, and that is understandable. So thank you very much for your time. And Raf, likewise, I understand you need to leave. So please stay if you can a little bit longer, but otherwise perfectly okay to go. So on to the next part of the agenda. I just want to briefly present to you the EU-WOP program before we dive into the individual projects that fall under it. The EU-WOP program is and I'm at the same time trying to share my screen here, the EU-WOP program is a 4-year initiative that is, let's see, I can do this at the same time and speak. I guess I can't, I have to just choose one. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be allowing me to share my screen. It's not giving me an option. Please just give me a moment. Share screen. Nope. It's just not giving me the option to do it. Okay, well, I will proceed to tell you about it without the images then. I thank you for your understanding on that. So the EU-WOP program, as you know, is a 4-year-long initiative that is a collaboration between the European Union and UN-Habitat, and with all of you, leveraging the knowledge and contributions of water and sanitation utilities and other types of organizations who are very critical as well to help their peers. This is a program that is giving 7 million euros to support these water operators partnerships. And it's taking place in 3 basic stages that began with a call and selection process that happened in 2021. From January to August, we were in the process of calling for proposals and supporting their submission and evaluating and selecting them. In August, we decided on the final 22 projects that would go ahead. But as Chantal has highlighted, there were many others that were received and a very good number that we consider having high potential for going forward. So any interested donors out there, we can share these proposals with you. These are all peer partnerships that are running in parallel for the next 3-year period. They're now being put into place, and once they kick off, they will run for 36 months, and they will be cross-cut by program-wide elements that add value to and connect the various independent collaborations. This program was born out of a need and an opportunity. I think we all are very well aware of the ongoing, pressing, and not necessarily receding very quickly problem of water and sanitation access in the world, but which is increasingly also related to problems with the sustainable management of the freshwater systems behind that. Water and sanitation operators play a key role in all of the SDG 6 goals, including access and the various sustainable management related targets. But there's an opportunity here, which is that keen, capable, and experienced operators are around, and they have the potential to contribute to supporting one another. There's a European actors are also committed very much to the kinds of results that this kind of project can enable, linking to finance and addressing multiple SDGs. And there's the Global Water Operators Partnerships Alliance of UN-Habitat that has been developing expertise over the years to guide this kind of practice. The design of the program didn't come from out of a hat. It took quite a lot of time to develop, and a lot of things went into it. Importantly, over 15 years of global WOP experience, monitoring, documenting, and drawing lessons from the global WOP practice. GWOPA has now developed quite a good set of good practice. We know what makes WOPs work fairly well. We're still learning, obviously, but there's a lot that we know. And this has very much informed the design of these projects, the call for proposals, and our selection process, which I'll tell you a little bit more about. Also essential to the WOP practice is the code of conduct, the principles that were defined at the onset of GWOPA when we were set up by the UN Secretary General's Advisory Board over 10 years ago. Most notably, the principle of not-for-profit. And this is not just an ideological kind of consideration. This is a very practical one about that facilitates effective learning between peer utilities on the basis of trust. In addition, these global and European development objectives and policy frameworks inform very much the design of the program, but it has also gone through extensive consultation with potential WOP participants and supporters to try to ensure that this would be doable, attractive, achieve the goals that we're going after. So we had a number of consultations in a group and then one-on-one with key stakeholder groups. So this is how the design came together. Overall, the objectives of the WOP, and I do wish you could see my slide, it would be much easier than watching me speak, but at least I'm going maybe a little more quickly. But essentially, the overarching goal is to increase access to water and sanitation services. And how are we doing this? By supporting the capacity and performance of water and sanitation operators. That's the main vehicle that WOPs employ to help improve access long-term. Additionally, finance for water and sanitation operators for investment and leveraging investment is a key objective of this program, but also to engage more actors in the water operators partnerships process, so that there is stronger capacity and commitment among those key partner organizations in the future going forward, so that more operators can help one another improve beyond this program. I want to briefly highlight some of the key selection considerations. As I said, this was very carefully designed, and a lot of people paid very close attention to the design and selection criteria, and designed wonderful, very rich, and very, very, very promising proposals. one of the key aspects of the proposals was that they needed to design with partners and not for them. This is very much a co-developed approach. So that we were looking very much for that kind of co-ownership in the selection. We wanted to make sure that the capacity was being embedded. So this is not just about a one-off training workshop, you know, a little visit here and there, but how is this transforming into knowledge, into working regimes, into change processes, and eventually improve performance. Another thing I would like to highlight is the arrangements. So it's very important, we have learned from experience, the commitment to these WOPs at high level. And this is why even in the first phase of the project, we required a commitment from all the partner organizations. They needed to indicate, particularly from the beneficiary utility, that they were committed to this and would committing the staff time required to make it successful. Another interesting aspect in the design was co-mentoring. We encouraged very much the partnerships to involve not the typical mentor-mentee kind of setup, but ones where there were possibly more than one mentee or more than one mentor, particularly with the objective of developing further the capacity of new mentors to get involved in this. So for new organizations that had good, good operations, they had a lot of skills and know-how, but they had never been involved with this kind of partnership, this would also be an opportunity for them to learn. Other quick points to highlight about in the selection criteria was that the linkages to investment. So we did look for a leverage, some sort of counterpart contribution. This was not an absolute requirement. There are different ways of making this kind of contribution, but we did end up with quite a successful leverage on top of the grant amount. But we were also looking, and it's not a requirement, but looking for opportunities for linkages to investment, either prior investment, ongoing investment, even future investment, preparation for, just so that the capacity would be supporting some greater scale of impact. So this was also something that we were looking for in the selection criteria. All types of synergies we really sought. Wherever operators who were applying were really seeking out opportunities to make this capacity development focused project build on something ongoing or give further value to something ongoing or upcoming, to catalyze something new. This was given quite a lot of attention. So some quick facts about the response to the call for proposals. Again, the response was very high, 142 received, 92 eligible, around 50 high potential, and 22 in the end were selected. 77% of them proposed some sort of link with investment. And if you could see my slide, you could see the various different topics that were covered by the projects that we chose. In addition to the individual projects going on through the EU-WOP program, there are program-wide elements to which all projects will contribute. The idea is to connect and add value to these projects, to bring what's an individual partnership to the world, and for the world also to help inform, for these projects to help learn from the other projects that are going on. There are three components to that. There's knowledge, notably with the EU-Know initiative, which includes a communities of practice through which the thematic focal points of different projects can be in touch with those from other projects. They could be discussing with one another on specific themes. There's a WOP learning program that we're doing together with IHE, regional trainings, documentation, research, and guidance. There's also an advocacy component where we're trying to build support among European WOP enablers to do more and more effective WOPs going further beyond the scope of this project. And finally, working on communications together. This is to raise awareness and appreciation by relevant audiences in Europe, but also in the beneficiary countries, about the program activities and their results. So as you know, we are all in the process of finalizing our legal agreements with the lead partner, with UN-Habitat and the lead partner. This is the sort of framing agreement that will provide the funds to the lead partner, through which they will lead the implementation together with all the partners in the individual WOP projects. These are getting underway now. Thank everybody for your hard work in getting those finalized. We're getting very close. So this WOP launch will be a little bit symbolic, and yet we think we're close enough to be able to celebrate it as something going forward. So thank you for listening to the overview of the program. And now I'm very delighted to introduce to you 3 sets of WOP implementers in this program. And the first of those, we will hear from the partners from Madrid, Canal Madrid, and CEDAPAL in Peru. I would like to introduce to you, and I'll do so briefly, Mr. Francisco Dumler, who's the president of CEDAPAL, as well as David Peral Pozo, who's the sustainability analyst and head of the UN Sustainable Water and Energy Solutions Network at Canal de Isabel II. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Julie. Muchas gracias. Voy a compartir la pantalla. Trataré también de hablar muy rápido para que se me entienda bien en la traducción. Bueno, muchas gracias, lo primero, a todos por estar aquí en esta sesión de lanzamiento y de presentación de los proyectos. La verdad es que es un placer tanto para Canal, bueno, ahora Francisco lo comentará, como para CEDAPAL, estar aquí participando no solo en esta sesión, sino en este proyecto que nos va a embarcar una aventura de al menos 3 años. El motivo o el proyecto que nos tiene aquí es el agua residual, ¿no? Ese es el eje central del proyecto. El agua residual entendida como una herramienta que nos va a ayudar a luchar contra el cambio climático a través de la reutilización o regeneración del agua, y además contra el coronavirus, contra el COVID-19, gracias a su detección temprana. Ahora explicaremos un poquito más en detalle. Y por favor, Francisco, si quieres empezar con las presentaciones de CEDAPAL, el micro es tuyo.
Sí, mil gracias. Muy buenas, bueno, desde este lado de América Latina, muy buenos días a todos. CEDAPAL es de lejos la empresa de agua y saneamiento más grande del Perú, porque además su capital, Lima y Callao, que son las provincias que abastece, se concentra la tercera parte de la población del país. Actualmente tenemos una cobertura del orden del 93% de conexiones domiciliarias, que aproximadamente son 9 millones de los casi 10 millones de habitantes de la población. Nuestra empresa tiene 2.646 empleados, y una cosa que es interesante, hace 3 décadas Lima tenía la mitad de población. Es decir, en 1990 había una población que era el 50% de lo que es hoy. Y también es una ciudad muy extendida. El ámbito de acción del norte al sur de CEDAPAL, solo para mencionarles, es de casi 110 kilómetros de longitud. Es una ciudad muy extendida y, a diferencia de otras ciudades, hay muy poco desarrollo vertical. Siguiente, por favor, David, si no te molesto. Ok, y nuestra alianza estratégica, este partnership con Canal Isabel II, es básicamente un asesoramiento de parte de ellos, es una tutoría, un coach para el desarrollo de tener nuestras propias herramientas para la detección del coronavirus en aguas residuales, el sistema Vigía, así se ha denominado. Y obviamente esto tiene todo el correlato para maximizar el estudio sobre el potencial del agua regenerada y el aprovechamiento de residuos, ¿no? Y ese tema también está apoyado por un programa de benchmarking a nivel internacional. ¿Y qué es lo que vamos a hacer como objetivos en estos 3 años de trabajo conjunto con Canal Isabel II? Primero es potenciar y promover la producción de agua regenerada. Existe una arquitectura, además, que permite hoy también trabajar el valor comercial de agua regenerada, mejorar la capacidad operativa de Sedapal en la gestión de agua regenerada. Y esto es por algo que ustedes podrán darse cuenta también. Por ejemplo, en el Perú, la producción o el tratamiento de agua para parques y jardines es una competencia municipal, por decir algo, y no es una competencia de la empresa de agua. Y entonces tenemos que establecer alianzas con los municipios locales. Y obviamente también esto tiene que ver con ingresar al diseño de infraestructuras, sobre todo en aquellas infraestructuras que ya tienen muchos años trabajando y son lagunas o pozas de oxidación de hace 30, 40 años, cuyas tecnologías han sido superadas en las últimas décadas. Siguiente, David, por favor. Y bueno, ¿cuáles son nuestros targets? ¿Qué esperamos lograr? Primero, mejorar la gestión técnica operativa. Esto es básicamente en nuestros técnicos peruanos, mejorar el trabajo de aguas residuales sin tratamiento, ingresar a las tecnologías de biosólidos y obviamente toda esta nueva tendencia de economía circular, que en realidad en el Perú es novísima, ¿no? Lo otro tiene que ver con monitoreo, control de calidad de aguas residuales, todos los sistemas de mantenimiento preventivo, correctivo, los equipos críticos para buscar el tratamiento de aguas residuales y su reaprovechamiento, todos los sistemas de métodos y modelos estadísticos efectivos aplicados en el monitoreo y detección del SARS-CoV-2 en aguas residuales, y esto también en alianza con las autoridades de salud, ¿no? Y conocer los sistemas de automatización aplicados en el proceso de monitoreo y detección temprana del virus SARS-CoV-2 en las aguas residuales y en el proceso de gestión de las PETARs, conducción del agua residual tratada y la gestión de subproductos. Y obviamente ya los temas más internos de administración del riesgo, seguridad, control de plantas de tratamiento de aguas residuales, y esto en el marco de tener como partner o como estándar de trabajo las normas de bench de la Unión Europea. Mil gracias, David. Yo creo que con eso concluye la presentación de Sedapal y te cedo la palabra para que tú hagas la presentación de Canal Isabel II.
Muchas gracias, Francisco. Bueno, Canal de Isabel II, para los que no la conozcan, es la principal empresa pública de España, ¿no? Por tamaño y por volumen, ¿no? de agua producida. Si bien gestionamos casi, bueno, más de 6,6 millones de habitantes en la Comunidad de Madrid, que es la región donde está la capital de España, Madrid. Actualmente somos más de 3.000 empleados y hablando de agua regenerada, hablando de agua reutilizada, actualmente nuestro volumen medio anual de producción de agua reutilizada está en torno a los 126 millones de metros cúbicos. Habíamos mencionado antes Vigía, este proyecto que así es como lo denominamos en su día cuando lo diseñamos, cuando lo creamos, allá al poco de comenzar la pandemia, estamos hablando de abril, mayo 2020. Bueno, es una herramienta que principalmente lo que hace es detectar en el agua residual pues aquello que generamos, ¿no? Cualquier residuo que genera la población termina en el agua residual, ¿no? Acaba en nuestras depuradoras. Bueno, pues con un sistema que implementamos, que no es propio de, no solo lo tiene Canal, hay muchas empresas en el resto del mundo que tienen implementados un sistema parecido para la detección del COVID en aguas residuales, pero si bien en la Comunidad de Madrid, por su extensión, ¿no? por el número de puntos de muestreo y los municipios, ¿no? que da cobertura este sistema, pues lo hace especial, ¿no? Lo hace único y sin entrar en detalles de la herramienta, pero pues tenemos casi 300 puntos de muestreo, 120 situados en estaciones depuradoras y 173 en pozos, ¿no? A lo largo de los más de 8.000 kilómetros cuadrados que tiene de extensión la Comunidad de Madrid y los 179 municipios, ¿no? En total estaríamos más o menos cubriendo pues esos casi 7 millones de habitantes, ¿no? que tiene la región. Por supuesto, todo esto pues con un procedimiento que hemos ido mejorando, hemos ido puliendo a lo largo del tiempo, hasta llegar a esta herramienta que es la que tenemos actualmente, ¿no? Una herramienta que por cierto está disponible en nuestra página web, por si queréis consultarla, y en la que, bueno, pues por cada uno de los municipios de nuestra región, los habitantes o aquel que esté interesado puede consultar pues cómo está afectando, ¿no? la incidencia del COVID en esa detección que hacemos en el agua residual, pues cómo está afectando a su municipio o a otro, ¿no? Y se puede ver y se puede visualizar en ese mapa que veis a la derecha. Respecto al agua regenerada, ya lo ha comentado antes Francisco, pero a nosotros nos gusta en Canal hablar del agua regenerada como una herramienta, ¿no? Porque aunque llevamos ya mucho tiempo en Canal, casi pues desde los años 80, ¿no? Que empezamos con tratamientos terciarios en nuestras plantas, quizás es una herramienta que nace por esa necesidad de luchar contra el cambio climático, ¿no? No olvidemos que Madrid es una de las regiones más secas, no de España, sino también de Europa, ¿no? Del sur de Europa. Y el agua regenerada lo que nos da es la posibilidad de no tener que hacer uso de agua potable, ¿no? que podríamos destinar pues, precisamente para uso humano, ¿no? Para consumo humano. Entonces, a partir de ese momento, ¿no? Ya por los años 80, pues empezamos a utilizar esta herramienta, ¿no? Estas tecnologías, y actualmente tenemos en nuestro sistema 32 plantas de agua regenerada. Como os decía antes, más de 120 kilómetros cúbicos producimos de media al año, una red de 656 kilómetros de red y incluso un centro de excelencia en la que, bueno, pues podemos testear con diferentes usos que abajo podéis ver algunos de ellos, ¿no? Pues tenemos agua regenerada para uso industrial, para la mayor papelera de Europa, también para usos como el riego de campos de golf, agricultura, riego también de instalaciones deportivas, en fin, seguimos investigando porque creemos que tiene muchísimo potencial y se puede utilizar en otros usos. Y poco más, daros las gracias a todos por estar presentes en esta sesión y bueno, esperamos que os haya gustado este proyecto. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. This is a very interesting initiative. We can't wait to see it take off, and I know you're getting very close to that point. Quickly moving on. It's a very interesting project, and it would be a shame not to hear about it properly. So please let us move on temporarily then to the next project, which is really also a very, very exciting one. It's a collaboration between World Water Net in Amsterdam with SODAPEPA, get the acronym correct, in Mali, and co-mentored with ONE, the National Water and Energy Authority of Morocco. I'm very excited to hear more about the DGTNAM project. Please, you can probably pronounce that better than I can. Please share your screen. I'm now introducing our colleagues from over there. We have Kun Matthias and Tierno Amadou Sissoko, as well as Mokhtar Jair.
Merci beaucoup, Julie. Vous pouvez voir mon écran? OK, parfait, merci. Et alors oui, moi je m'appelle Kun et j'ai fait cette présentation avec mes collègues Tierno et M. Mokhtar Jaid à côté de Morocco. On va continuer rapidement. Oui, notre projet est fait par 4 sociétés, SOMAGEP et SOMAPEP, les sociétés maliennes responsables pour la gestion de l'eau et aussi le patrimoine de l'eau dans 90 villes dans tout le Mali. Et aussi l'Office national de l'électricité à côté de Maroc et Waternet, qui est la société de l'eau potable à Amsterdam, aux Pays-Bas. On a une bonne histoire dans notre collaboration. Waternet et ONE, nous, on a fait des projets ensemble depuis 2009 et le partenariat entre SOMAGEP et Waternet a commencé en 2016. Et maintenant, en 2021, on va continuer notre partenariat avec ce nouveau projet financé par le EU-WOP. Et bien sûr, nous sommes très, très heureux avec ça. Les objectifs du projet GTIAMAN, c'est Bambara pour beaucoup d'eau. Alors ça, c'est le but du projet. Et il y en a 2 composantes. Le premier composante, c'est attirer le cofinancement pour les investissements infrastructurels. Il y a un projet néerlandais qui finance, qui vont financer des infrastructures et on a besoin d'une autre 50% pour remplir ce projet, ce budget. Et le deuxième composante, c'est de réduire le non-revenue water dans 3 villes au Mali. Pendant le programme Waterworks, on a eu beaucoup d'expérience dans la capitale de Bamako et maintenant on va élargir les activités dans 3 autres villes au Mali. Alors maintenant, je voudrais demander mes collègues, M. Sissoko et aussi M. Jaid, mais on commence avec M. Sissoko qui est à côté de moi ici à Bamako, avec quelques questions sur notre partenariat. Monsieur Sissoko, si le SOMAGEP voudrait améliorer son expertise dans le domaine de non-revenue water, pourquoi vous et vos collègues ne suivent pas une formation sur ce sujet?
Merci Kun. C'est déjà parce que la formation, ça sera pour moi seul. Alors que si nous décidons d'aller dans un partenariat, ça va bénéficier à beaucoup plus de personnes. Et le partenariat à travers le WOP nous offre beaucoup plus d'opportunités en termes d'accès à des sociétés d'eau qui ont les mêmes difficultés que nous, qui travaillent sur les mêmes thématiques, les sociétés d'eau. Donc, nous avons accès à leur expérience. Et ça va nous éviter de faire face aux mêmes problèmes s'ils ont déjà eu à développer des solutions pour un certain nombre de problèmes. Et aussi parce que le WOP nous apporte une assistance à temps réel. Nous travaillons avec un partenaire qui est là avec nous, qui nous assiste dans la phase d'élaboration des solutions et qui est là aussi dans la phase de mise en œuvre. Donc ça, c'est vraiment un apport inestimable. Et déjà aussi dans le WOP, l'aspect formation dont vous parlez est déjà pris en charge. Le partenariat nous donne accès à un certain nombre de formations. Donc moi, par exemple, j'ai bénéficié, j'ai fait 2 ans de formation hier et il y a bien sûr la communauté de pratique qui est derrière.
Merci, M. Sissoko. Concernant le temps, je vais continuer avec une dernière question pour M. Mokhtar Jaid. Monsieur Jaïd, vous pouvez m'entendre?
Oui, oui.
Moi, je suis intéressé de savoir de votre côté pourquoi l'ONU s'engage dans ce partenariat.
Voilà, l'ONU branche eau, c'est une entreprise publique en charge de l'eau potable et de l'assainissement au Maroc. Donc, à l'ONU, on est très convaincu que l'eau étant vitale pour les humains, mais aussi pour les autres espèces ainsi que l'environnement, que sa gestion ne peut pas se faire ne peut pas faire l'objet uniquement d'une démarche mercantile ou spéculative, mais elle doit faire l'objet de partenariats à but non lucratif. Et aussi, nous sommes convaincus que le savoir et le savoir-faire de l'eau doit être partagé et doit être considéré comme patrimoine universel de l'humanité. Ceci dit, donc, depuis la création de l'ONU en 1972, nous avons bénéficié beaucoup de support des opérateurs des pays du Nord. Donc, si je veux citer des exemples, il y a le Waternet, le SIAP en France, la DP Portugal, la SWDE, la Vivaqua de Belgique, la Senta en Espagne, etc., etc. Donc, et nous estimons qu'il est aussi de notre devoir, vu que nous avons acquis une certaine expertise, une certaine expérience dans le domaine, de notre devoir de partager notre savoir, notre expertise avec les pays du Sud dans le cadre du partenariat Sud-Sud au Nord-Sud-Sud. Surtout que nous voyons que c'est les plus, que le partenariat il serait plus intéressant dans la mesure que c'est vrai, nous avons acquis une certaine expertise, mais nous demeurons un pays en voie de développement. Donc, nous avons beaucoup de problèmes communs et nous avons fait du success story, des failure story qu'on peut partager. Il y a l'aspect, donc, par exemple, si on part avec la SOMAGEP, donc nous avons beaucoup de problèmes, soit culturels, même naturels, la rareté de l'eau, etc., commune, et que ce partenariat, il est plus intéressant.
Merci, Monsieur Mokhtar Jaïd. Et en raison de temps, je voudrais arrêter notre présentation et donner la parole à Julie. Julie, s'il vous plaît. Et merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much. It's nice. I didn't know you spoke French so well. It was nice to have a session in French as well. We have Spanish, French, and now we're able to give our presentation from Asia in English. And I see that our colleagues from IWK and Biripal Banjamisan are back, and we are certain that this time will be better. So I'm giving you the floor. Please tell us about your interesting WOP project.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. All right, thank you. I'm just going to share my screen now. Okay. India Water, in short, IWK, is a national sewerage company from Malaysia, owned by the Ministry of Finance Incorporated. So we cover the whole of Peninsula Malaysia and an island east of Malaysia. So our coverage area is about 82,000 square kilometers, serving close to 27,000 population. The number of sewage treatment plants that we are currently operating is about 7,111 and about 1,300 network pump stations. Throughout the country, we manage close to 20,000 kilometers of sewer pipes. Recently, this year, we have moved into further enhancing our treated effluent to produce recycled water for non-potable use, to be used by industries. So this is one good effort in terms of going green. In terms of resources, we have close to 3,400 resources. Nationwide, we have about 22 offices, 59 reporting centers, 632 vehicles, 5 laboratories, 1 research center, 1 training center, and 1 museum. The interesting museum that we have shows sewage treatment facilities from the 50s up to how we evolve today, having modern and centralized sewage treatment facilities. The next slide tells us that the projects that we have done on international through water operators partnership programs from 2008 to 2012, covering most areas in Southeast Asia. But apart from water operators partnership, we have also done operational audit for wastewater services in Saudi Arabia and several other countries through funded by US aid. So some of the projects that we have done through WOP, O&M, operation and maintenance of sewerage system and optimization of facilities. We have also provided septage management, operational scaling up the septage management, management best practices, septage management best practices in other countries, Indonesia, Philippines. We have also helped in the design, testing, and commissioning of wastewater treatment facilities. So in this water operators partnership approach with Kota Bandar Madjid, we hope to provide capacity building, online trainings and workshops, policy reviews, review of guidelines, looking into recycle initiative, such as sludge reuse, water recycling, so on, and development on promotional of awareness material, public awareness, communication plan to create more awareness among the people from Kota Banjarmasin. And finally, we hope to have on-site training and on-site visit to carry out technology and knowledge transfer to all employees in PDPAL Kota Banjarmasin. So we would like to thank UN-Habitat Global Partnership Alliance to give us this opportunity, and we'll work very closely with PDPAL Banjarmasin and Waterlink to make this program a successful one. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you so very much. And I just wanted to highlight that your counterpart is here as well, that he's on screen and that he can say hello. This is Mr. Ramatullah, who is also on screen, but just not
Hi, Mr. Ramatullah. We hope to meet you online and in person soon.
Yeah. Great. Now, thanks very much. This was just a very small sampling of the great diversity of partnerships that are happening under this project. I really think it was a nice snapshot from Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. But we'd like to give you a slightly deeper kind of overview of the projects that have been selected. And for that, we have a video to play. While we're playing it, I request you to please join us on stage, which means if you're watching, just click on this little button below your screen, which says join meeting. If speakers don't leave the meeting, the others should click to say join meeting, and you will be let in. Please keep your microphones off, but we're going to be able to see one another, wave at one another. Of course, this will be a sampling of those who are actually involved in the projects, but it will be nice to see some of the faces of the project partners in this important initiative. So please indicate your interest to come on screen. And if Moataz, if you could please go ahead and launch the video that we have for this program.
The world is facing a huge water and sanitation challenge. Effective local service providers are essential to reaching the goal of ensuring the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Many water utilities are facing common challenges, irrespective of their location. Water operators partnerships are an opportunity for utilities to help one another through peer exchange. WOPs help improve the skills and capacities of essential water and sanitation workers, Rather than substituting capacity, they help local utility staff to make lasting improvements that can continue well beyond the life of the partnership. The EU is recognizing and leveraging the key role of utilities in reaching the Sustainable Development Goals through the EU-WOP program. Led by UN-Habitat's GWOPA, this program supports 22 three-year-long partnerships. Some of them are new and some are building on a longer-term partnership already. Utilities are collaborating within their country, across continents, north with south, south-south, and also in triangular constellations. What they all have in common is that they are peer support between two or more water operators, demand-driven and co-ownership. They are supported by a range of other stakeholders and co-mentors with different kinds of expertise as well. These partnerships will progressively strengthen and empower beneficiary utilities on management, financial, and technical levels to implement the kinds of changes that lead to better and more sustainable services to their communities. They're connected to finance, leveraging often high counterpart contributions, and most of them will strengthen the financial viability of the mentee, which is the basis for attracting future investments. The WOPs are embedded in a program-wide knowledge management initiative. With coordination from GWOPA, all partnerships will share progress and challenges and generate new knowledge from their working areas within the WOPs community. Are you keen to get to know the 22 new WOPs? Well, we are happy and proud to introduce them to you today.
Shutterstock Music.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that video. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks to my colleagues for putting that together. I think they did a great job. And so now a bunch of us are backstage and we can see one another. And please, again, don't turn on your microphone. It will cause havoc, I'm sure. But if we can at least wave. And Evie, I don't know, I believe you have an opportunity to put everybody in a grid view and take a photo. For those of you who are there, you can also put grid view on below. There's some sort of windows there that you can click on, and then you can see different people who have joined us. Thank you for joining the session, and I wanted to say congratulations. I know that this is a small sampling of us here today. We're only over 50 organizations that are involved in this EU-WOP program, so it's really quite a lot, and very, you know, a lot of engagement that's not reflected fully by the faces that we see here today. There are many more behind them. So, but thank you so much for joining. It was let's consider these projects launched. Oh, we have a request for Sophie to speak, and that would be most wonderful for Sophie from EU DevCo to come and speak, DG INPA to speak today. Sophie, would you like to say a few words?
Well, indeed, I just connected for the picture, so I did not intend to take the floor, but I'm really happy to see this project launched and the 22 WOPs almost on track now, and hopefully for a long and very fruitful life. And thank you to all of you involved in that project that makes us be proud of as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sophie. And thank you very much to all of our speakers and to everyone and our technicians, our interpreters. This is the very last of the over 30 EU-WOP Congress, EU-WOP, Global WOPs Congress sessions. And it's been great to join you here on screen. And I think we can call this the end of the Congress. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you too, Julie. Very nice and well-organized session. Great, thanks.
What? Already over? No, we have plenty more options to continue the discussions and peer exchange beyond the Congress.
Tell me more. What are the options?
Well, GWOPA membership, for example. By becoming a member of GWOPA, everyone can connect to a global alliance of practitioners and experts. There are two ways of becoming a member. First, institutional members. Institutions can participate in GWOPA's assemblies and are eligible to run and vote in its international steering committee elections. Or second, individual members. Individuals can connect and engage with peers in the online GWOPA community. We have created a space that allows for networking and easy communication. Meet future WOP partners, stay up to date on project opportunities, and participate in peer-to-peer learning opportunities.
Sounds great. How can I join?
Simply go to www.gwwopa.org and register for free. If you want to know more, you can follow GWOPA on social media and subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks for joining the 4th Global WOPs Congress. We'll see you soon.